Okay. Should be going
Says it's
live.
live.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if it pops up on the YouTube.
We are
Okay.
live.
All right, dope. What's going on, Super Comic Book fam? It's been a minute. It's been a while. Stokes, what have you been up to, my friend? My boy.
Getting ratio.
Again, typical, common Stokes Monday morning. He's getting ratio.
Yeah, it is getting pretty regular at this point.
And we have 24x4. What's going on? It's the first time on the show.
Just staying away from Twitter because it's a hellscape, and every time I log in, it makes me want to die.
You know what? I hear that sentiment. I definitely do.
I can't get away from Twitter.
I've been enjoying it, watching the ratios happening, Stokes, and we should probably just get straight into it. I think. Why don't you set the stage for us, Stokes? What has happened? What has transpired that has inspired this specific show for us? And I think I'm going to let you ISO and maybe let you go off a little bit.
Oh shit! Oh no, not the zoom in. Not the zoom in. My least favorite. Get to my stubble. So essentially, I saw a post that was essentially saying that how people claim they all comics are political now, and they gave Watchmen and X-Men examples of comics having always been political. Somebody also posted like the original Superman, like Action Comics as well, to like kind of do that. Like I think Superman was just running around like beating up, stopping corrupt bankers and shit. So it's always been political. So I shared that and I said all fiction has politics, and the right people found it, and then here we are.
Yeah, I mean, let me pull up this tweet for us so we can all have it right in front of us.
Yeah,
and yeah, you've been getting cooked, my friend. It's just
I don't know if I'm getting cooked per se.
I mean,
I don't know if I'm getting cooked, like, because there's a lot of likes on that post.
Oh yeah, that's the meme.
There is a lot of likes on it, but I mean, the first one down here has a lot more likes, 1,456.
That's the one ratio. That's
one ratio.
Yeah, I'm not saying I didn't get ratio. I don't know.
You got a few. There's a couple ratios in here. I think if we scroll
down,
there
you see where it's like 400 plus likes on the post. It's like it happened like once.
You're right. You've been creeping back up there. The post hasn't stopped. But you've also had a lot of very funny interactions. I don't know if you want to get into those immediately, if you have a little bit more that you wanted to go off about.
I guess we can just get into like why I tweeted this, why I think it's important.
Yeah.
So my logic. So there's a lot of people that say, like I said, like it says, all comic books are political. All comics have always been political, and they say that as a retort to people complaining now that comics are overtly political. And that's not why they can make that argument. I think it's stupid. But essentially, the reason why I tweeted that is because I always want people to have a deeper understanding of fiction, and the way it works. And to me, this is just the truth of fiction, right? So my logic behind saying all fiction has politics is that every human being on this earth is affected by politics via one way or the other, environment, socioeconomics. There's not a single scenario you can give to me where I can't point out and say this person is being affected by politics. I don't even mean society. Like, if you go into, like, let's say uncontacted, uncontacted by civilization. I can't think of the word for the people. I guess like indigenous, like they're just like somewhere remote. That if whatever their structure is for that group of people would still have politics. Like they would still have a means to work together in their group of people. So when you're telling a story, when you're creating a work of fiction, you're going to have political biases. Like it's just going to happen. Like it's a fact. Now, the significance of that is that you can confront your political biases. You can explore your political biases, or you can work against them. Or, explore them. There's all kinds of things you should do, but I think it's very important to understand. It's very important to, like, when you make a story, to understand that, because also it helps that you're not putting in something, you know, subliminally, or you're just more aware of the kind of story that you're telling. So that's why I made the post. That's why it's important for me to have these kind of conversations.
Yeah, definitely. I think so I personally don't 1,000% agree with the sentiment, but I do agree with the idea that once you put something out there and once you have stuff just like for people to read and interact with, and it's sort of out of your hands already, you know what I mean? So you could think something's not political, and if somebody reads it and it's out in the world and they read it politically, then it's, you know, it's sorry, it's not up to you. It's really up to the people that consume whatever you just made, to really label and tell you how it impacts them and other people. So 24x4, I know you're also sort of on the fence. How tell me about your opinion on this.
So gosh. First off, excuse me because I'm very tired, so like I might not like argue super well. But I do think that it's possible to make art. So I haven't really thought about it in terms of comics quite yet, but like I do think it's possible to make art that isn't political. Like if I were to just like sit down and paint like a flower that I thought was cool, like that, like people could try to ascribe a million meanings to it, but after a certain point, I feel that the artist's intent does matter to a certain point. Um, I know that like currently in like the postmodern age, there's sort of this like belief that like maybe the artist's intent doesn't matter, but I think that uh, like I don't know, I'm a strong believer in intent mattering. And I think that sorry, one sec. I'm gonna turn off cam, take the goofy mask off, because oh my goodness.
It's getting hard to talk.
Yeah, it's getting hard to talk. I'm like fogging up the inside. Okay.
Hey, Chris, you know you're shit screen share, right?
Okay, I didn't even realize my fucking. I'm like on Twitter. I started scrolling, dude. Yeah, that's what it is, dude. My brain is like TikTok has ruined my attention span. I'm like immediately
Oh
like
my
I need
God.
to get to the next piece of content.
But
But no, I hear you. I hear you with intent
yeah,
mattering for sure.
like cause I think that there's a lot of pieces of art out there, especially like sort of modern art and stuff, where creator intent is basically the driving force behind it. And the creator's life and like backstory are the driving force behind it. Because like an ordinary person might look at a piece and be like, I don't get it, what the hell is this? But because of the intent and the life of the creator, that's what makes it rich. So I guess I don't I can see the argument that once it's free to the people, then the people decide. But I also think that for like pieces, intent also matters. And I guess the argument becomes like, where does it, where is the, where, like, how do we define things like art? Is it okay to acknowledge both? Like, and because if we do acknowledge both, then we're going to end up with situations where the creator and the populace don't match up.
For sure. I think that's okay
the
though.
thing is though, like I think we're having two different conversations, because when you say like drawing a flower, that's not necessarily fictional, right? Like I said fiction because once you make a fictional world, you have to
Yeah.
fill it in, and then that's
Okay.
where the political bias comes in,
Okay.
and not even being a bad thing, because you when you're world building, you're gonna build like somebody from a communist country probably wouldn't, like the plot probably isn't going to be like I need to make money to do X, you know what I'm saying, and then and
Yeah.
vice versa. And that's where some countries don't even have the point of reference to tell certain stories. I'd
Okay.
also say that if we're talking about flowers, right? If you're from Arizona, you might draw a cactus, whereas if you're from Japan, you might draw a cherry blossom. So there's still things that you can take away. Now, again, I didn't say all art has politics. I said all fiction has politics.
Yeah. And I thought of an example for that. So there is this just pretty unwatchable movie. I can't remember the title of it right now, but I remember learning about it in school. It was by this Irish feminist, and the entire point of the film was to create like a movie about a like a woman's life, but without involving the male gaze, and in doing so, it becomes basically unwatchable because you have no idea what the hell you're looking at half the time. And so I'd argue that this is a case where the common person, where if the common person watches this movie without context, they wouldn't understand the plot line, they wouldn't understand any of the fiction going on behind it. But because the author has prescribed intention to it, that's what makes it political or apolitical. So like to a common person might say that it's apolitical, but then because of the creator, that's what makes it political.
And I think there's also a difference between. I think it's also two different statements to say something is. I think there's levels. I think to fiction, right? Like by my definition, everything is all fiction is political. All fiction has politics, and then after that it would be fiction that's political. It's making some kind of political point, and then there's like allegorical fiction, right? Like that's oh my god, the one with the pigs in the Animal Farm, for instance, like something like that is like a direct commentary, like a metaphor. So I think there's different things, and as far as intent, I would not use that logic of everything being fictional to interpret intent. That's not what I would do. What I would use that for is to just kind of reverse engineer the story and trying to pick where the political biases are coming from and where it's kind of headed. For instance, we were talking about, somebody brought up like Balloon Tower Defense 6 or something like that. Is it to say like, oh, what's the politics in this? And I said, in order to advance for the game, you have to get money, like it is an endorsement of capitalism, right? Like that's objectively, it's not a overt, endorsement of capitalism, right? But that's if saying like what's a communist country, like what's a China or some shit,
North
like
Korea.
North Korea, yeah, no, okay, let's say North Korea had game designers, they may not, but you're not making that fucking, what I'm saying, you wouldn't even think to make that a video game. You would have some kind of you would have an entirely different set of motivators, and not every game has getting money as a motivator. I remember this game, Death Stranding, where there wasn't currency, there was like materials and stuff to build. The plot was actually to help people. Like that was the entire purpose. That was the plot of the game, and the mechanics around the game were about helping people get supplies. So that's just that's just where I'm coming from. But like again, it's to say that all fiction is like political. I think that's another step than saying all fiction has been influenced by politics.
So you got many comments saying, do you even know the definition of politics, Stokes? So I'm going to pull up the definition of politics.
Oh, we got Pete. We got Pete in the
we got Pete.
Pull up the comments.
Pete saying,
I mean, he said,
do you want to respond to this, Stokes?
He said, I can see there's politics in fiction, could be accidental, could be on purpose. If it is be done well, the writer has to be subtle, not give an opinion. But I mean, but Pete, that's my point though. Like it's often accidental. Like it's impossible for you to make a fictional story, aka a fictional universe, without injecting your personality in there, and then your personality is influenced by politics. I don't know how you can disagree. Like I don't even understand the argument. Like somebody would have to give me a scenario where somebody, like I said, give me a scenario where somebody isn't influenced by politics.
We have some dissenters. I mean I don't know if I can give you one. As I was saying, as I was pivoting to the definition of politics.
Fuck that, don't pivot. Oh, okay.
No, it's a relevant pivot to the definition of politics, and we're gonna decide by looking at the Merriam-Webster definition of politics if all fiction is in fact political. So Stokes, what do you think the definition of politics is?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to define, right? It's such an abstract it's just an abstract concept. I think some people say the exchange of power. Like I think that's it. You say government, but you can be an anarchist is a political position, right? Nihilism is a political position. So I don't even think that I don't think there is a working definition for politics.
Okay, well, we have about 5 entries here for working definitions of politics, but they all are sort of using politics in the definition. So, are they even good definitions in themselves? I like the total complex of relations between people living in a society. If that's what politics is, that's pretty broad, and it seems that all fiction would end up being in that category. Of politics using the Merriam-Webster definition, 24/4. How do you feel about that?
So I actually thought of an example. I don't know if it gets at what you're saying, but I think that's an interesting example. Um, and like if you haven't read this book, then like don't worry about it. Don't bother reading it. It's awful. But like have you read Sonichu?
I haven't. Tell me about it.
It is a book made by a very interesting individual named Chris Chan, who lives out in the middle of nowhere and is very, very isolated. It's an interesting piece of outsider art. Chris struggles with autism and it has difficulty existing within society. So Chris uses the ability to make comics in order to sort of create a impression of an ideal society in a way that is not in any way linked. It's basically like pretty foreign from our current society. So like it's a complete weird fantasy world created by somebody who doesn't understand how the world works. And it's the story started as taking Sonic and Pikachu and mixing them together into an original character. And as the story went, it became this deeply personal story about Chris's life and how they and their struggles with isolation and neurodivergency.
I mean, I can derive some politics from that. For instance, I mean, the fact that he wrote a story about Pikachu and Sonic. They excuse me. They wrote a story about Pikachu and Sonic that would like lead me to believe that they're from Western society, specifically capitalist society, probably not deeply religious.
Well, I guess this is an argument here. Would you say that having I'm not quite sure if having a psychological history counts as like a political idea necessarily. Because you can have a psychological history as a feral child in the woods.
Absolutely.
And I would argue that Chris is very close to being feral.
I think for sure. I think you can using the definition here of the total complex of relations between people living in society. I mean, being outside of a society or being on the fringes of society, I think would still put it somewhere in this large umbrella term of politics that we're using. So I think Niobe has a good.
Fuck that. Pull up afternoon tunes.
Yo, what's good? How's it going?
Go down, bro.
All right. What are the politics of the stick, man? I drew in 2nd grade.
You know what's so funny is that somebody was like, "Yo, my nephew drew a dinosaur. My 7-year-old nephew drew a dinosaur. Like, what does that say about his? You know, what's political statement is that?" And it's like, yo, he if he's drawing a dinosaur, bro was not raised in a deeply religious. You weren't raised Christian, I can tell you that. Like, because then you don't believe in dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's another thing that's mostly Western. Which comment should we pull up?
So we have Julio in here. What's going on?
That man centrist? Hell no. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, see, we can't do this, bro. We can't. Everybody, people have a deeply anyway. Fuck. What's up, Julio?
What's up, man?
I'm glad that you could step away from being a CIA agent to come help us.
Of course.
How'd your waterboarding go earlier today?
It was an artistic experience. Now that you mention it.
So waterboarding a comic book making skill? Yo, we can pull up. We can. All right, Julio. Do you want to just show Julio the what happened?
Yeah,
And
we'll
then
show Julio, and then we'll circle back to Larry.
Larry's saying he's getting he's getting censored. We gotta keep
No,
that.
we're not censoring Larry. It's fine.
Yo,
Here we go. We got Stokes being absolutely cooked on Twitter.
incorrect.
What do you feel about this meme, Julio? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty obvious that all art in some form or fashion is political. It's almost childish to say that it's not. All art emerges from society and social life is political. So,
Damn, and that's from a CIA agent.
well, look, even if you joke, but the CIA famously had a great deal of influence on the sort of the popularization of postmodern art because they wanted something that would challenge Soviet realism. So yeah, it's literally political in that respect too.
Damn, dropping knowledge. That's why we have Special Agent Julio. And I think that's a fair take. If you had posted that, you would have gotten ratioed along with Stokes. But I think it's definitely a fair take. So Niobe says the issue that people are mad about is not that books have politics. It's that in the last 10 years, it's all been left-winged politics, and those on a conservative front are hunted down from the mob. So how do you guys feel about this?
Let me say this again, but that wasn't my point about it. That wasn't my point about it. Like, I wanted to make a point about how fiction is created. I wasn't arguing about the culture war shit. So I mean, I don't really have much. I don't really have much to say to that. When people say, comics are too political now, do I understand that what they're saying is that it's too overt? Yes. Do I disagree? Not all the time. Sometimes I agree with this. Sometimes I don't. But again, I think it's a missed opportunity to talk about how politics end up in fiction, and that's why I said what I said.
No, I think that's super fair. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing from what you're saying, because people are like, because that's what people are saying. They don't want identity politics in their comics. They're not necessarily saying that they don't want any politics, but it somehow has become conflated with each other. And I think
yes,
if you go through a lot of the quote retweets and a lot of the comments, people seem to assume a lot of things also. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes from the way that postmodern philosophy is has sort of run its course, and we're currently on this weird breaking point where postmodernism, metamodernism, whatever the hell comes next, is on the verge of erupting. And or another thing that people have been calling it is neo-romantic, new romantic. And I think that it's that outlook in art. It doesn't it's not saying that politics don't exist, but it's an active rejection of politics. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that we're on this precipice in terms of art movements currently. And just nobody has words for it right now to articulate it. But that's part of the reason why I wanted to jump in, is because I think a lot about what's coming next. And I don't know. Hopefully I'm making a little bit of sense when I'm saying there's this sort of aspect to people that is feral, that is very personal, that it's difficult to put a political label onto, I guess. And that aspect, that outsiderness is going to become important in the rejection of the previous movement, I guess. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'm really sorry.
Definitely.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I agree. I think people, one, I do think there's going to be, there is already, it's happening right in front of us, this reaction to, identity politics, or reaction to postmodernism, et cetera, and what that reaction is going to be. It's very interesting. And yeah, these people that are on the outskirts or don't find themselves aligning specifically with one party or the other, which really is most of America or most people on the planet, nobody is one way or the other 100% if you really were to break it down on the lines and like what people actually stand for everywhere, right? So I think we're going to have and continue to have this reaction to, you know, too much identity politics in something, or things being too conservative on another thing, or things being too liberal, and we're going to continue having this back and forth and this oscillation between these two things, and that's just sort of the nature of life and the nature of art. And so if things may seem too political, things may end up becoming more apolitical, but in that making things more apolitical, you're still you know, participating in the politics of it all.
Yes, being apolitical is a political stance, because if you don't have an opinion on politics at all, that is one thing. But being anti-political, going out of your way to be not political, is a stance.
And I'm not arguing that it is not a political stance, but I am arguing that this is a thing that is currently happening, and people who are of this mindset might not recognize that this is what's currently happening within society, that there is this rejection going on a massive scale.
Definitely.
Real quick, I just wanted to respond to Niobe. Like, I would say he's wrong that there's no right-wing art, because really, if you think about it, I mean, superficially you could say it's progressive, but Black Panther is a very conservative narrative. It's literally about some fucking CIA-backed monarch basically stopping a revolution. And even like he mentioned Batman, like the highest grossing Batman film, The Dark Knight Rises, is literally probably the most conservative blockbuster that's come out in a long time. Is literally telling us that, yeah, the Occupy Wall Street people were just giant babies. That's the message that Christopher Nolan is telling the audience. But so yeah, I wouldn't say that conservative art isn't you know, mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, we that's a great point. We got two. I ain't gonna lie, some of y'all saying some shit that's going over my head, but that's how I know we got two great guests. You know what I'm saying? If we can dip into like the thread, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Should we pivot to some funny ones?
No, I want to pull the Watchmen one. Pull the one where the dude said that about the Watchmen not being as political as.
The one on your like help me settle debate tweet.
Yeah. Pull that up.
I got you.
We are getting to a point where somebody told me that Watchmen is not as political as I think. And then I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about?
It all depends on your definition of political, and what I'm trying to get at is we've got you've got two camps. You've got the postmodern camp, and then you've got the whatever comes next camp, and nobody's going to agree on the same definition.
But the problem is that they're assuming how political I think it is. So
they're assuming they know your definition.
Yeah. So, but they don't know. But to make this argument about Watchmen, to me, is asinine. Like, if why don't we pick one of these things that are like not overtly political, which Watchmen is. It's absolutely overtly political. I don't know why you wouldn't make this argument about something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Julio's family, she said that you know, anything. The plot is to avoid starting World War III. Like, that's the plot of Watchmen. Like, this is not the hill to die on, I feel like.
Yo, that dude wrote V for Vendetta. You don't think he's political? Literally everybody wears that goofy ass mask every time they go to a protest. You know the V for Vendetta mask?
Yeah, the anonymous guy.
Yeah.
And not really change anything.
Some 300-pound guy wearing a Guy Fawkes mask, complaining about, you know, feminists or something.
Damn. Special Agent Hulu's got him on a list. Pulled him up already. But no, this is definitely an interesting take for people to have, that Watchmen isn't political. It seems pretty overt.
Dude, it's literally commenting on the Vietnam War, bro. Like, it's
right.
Well, not even that. Like, you can even go on a deeper level. Like, Alan Moore, or whatever his fucking name was, that guy hated superheroes because he thought they were like intrinsically right wing. Like, they were these hierarchical figures that we sort of just blindly trust to do the right thing. Like Watchmen is a very political narrative. Like it's basically a scathing attack on superheroes and why people under the false pretenses that they're worshipped under. Like that's what that fucking book is about. I don't. That's probably one of the dumbest comments I've ever seen, to be honest.
Oh, that it's not as political as you would think. There was a lot of projection. There was a lot of saying, like, somebody told me that, like, oh, I got called a leftist a bunch. I got called a couple times too.
Right. So there's actually a couple funny ones. Let me pull up one. Well, we'll pull up one.
Called the R word.
So this one, this guy is telling you to go suck the tits of your college activist teacher, Stokes. So
I went to college, so fuck you, James Con.
Right. So it's very interesting to see all of these people that make a lot of assumptions about you and what you believe in just from your tweet.
Which is ironic because essentially they're saying that, oh, what they're accusing me of is reading politics into everything. And then they're reading into my politics by just making a politically neutral statement. Like literally, I didn't imply anything with anything I said, whether I was like, right, left, whatever. And they're reading into it. If you could read into my political stance just by a couple tweets, then I don't think it's unreasonable that we could then infer like somebody's politics by something that they wrote. Not that I would do that, but that's what they think my argument is, and then that's what they're doing. So it's very.
But the fact that they view the world purely on political terms that way, that should tell you that all art is political. Like you're gonna analyze it politically. Look at how you look at the world, stupid. Everything you look at, like you looked at this tweet, a benign tweet, and you looked at it from a particularly political lens.
You saying something 24?
Oh, I was gonna say that kind of inherently the whole postmodern philosophy is pretty dang left wing. So it's kind of become a thing where I've noticed a lot of people will like hear talking points of that philosophy, and even if the person didn't go to school and like formally learn about it, like they'll still ascribe meaning to that philosophy because that's what it do. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just giving an explanation for why people do that. It's not. They're still trying to reject because they're trying to move on to the next thing. But like, it's all goofy. Everything's goofy. The culture was silly.
Culture was definitely stupid. Chris, having heard my definition, having seen the definition of like, and having heard my reasoning, did you still say you disagree, or you're on the fence about saying that all fiction has politics?
Oh, you mean is all fiction is political?
No. It has politics.
Oh, all fiction. Wait, is it all fiction has politics, or is all fiction political? I think those are two different
Chris,
statements.
What was the statement that I just said to you just now? Pull up the tweet.
Okay. All right. We'll pull up the tweet one more time, everybody.
I can't stand when you say a very specific thing to a motherfucker and they're like, wait, do you mean this or something that you didn't say?
All right. All fiction has politics. Yeah, I think I'm still. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. All fiction has politics. W host.
You also showing your messages in the bottom right.
Am I? You can't really see shit.
Yeah. But no, I'm not you good. But all right, you want to get into some goofy shit?
Yeah, we can get into some goofy ones. All right, so here is my absolute favorite reply. So after you guys are going back and forth, Stokes says, "You're projecting crazy right now, bro. Keep it going." Mr. Smiley Face replies, "Not my fault that you don't even have no bitches." Stokes, what do you have to say about having no bitches?
I feel like this was Julio's burner account.
was this UCI agent Julio? Did you MK Ultra someone?
No, he's about to tweet this from his main account like KD, bro.
That's crazy. So this one I found very humorous, Stokes. Hopefully you'll be able to find some bitches eventually. I'm praying for you, buddy. And then this one I found very humorous. This one was in response to you apparently blocking someone. And then you have somebody coming to your defense saying that you think you won by getting blocked. What kind of low standards can one have? And this guy comes back and says, they can have your parents' standards. That's pretty low, LMFAO. So we got some zingers from everybody on Twitter today, and these are just a couple of the funny ones that we found. Stokes, there's a couple. There's a couple more that you wanted to pull up that I'm going to pull up right now.
Yeah, when I get blocked by a girl, that means she actually wants to go on a date with me. A lot of people don't know that.
There's just a point where it's like when you're arguing with these, like, Paul 0125, like, it's like these people have nothing to lose. Like, they're on a burner. There's nothing. They have nothing to lose. Like, I was like, oh, like, you're like, at a certain point, I just started responding like anime profile thing. And the reason why that's significant is like, yo, you can't lose here. I'm the one that has stuff to lose. I'm the person with the comic book in the comic book career and like, like an adult job, like I'm the person who showers regularly. I have everything to lose. So at a certain point, you're getting blocked, bro. Like, oh, you see this.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. So you also had some funny replies. This is a great quote retweet where you said, "Just read this great book with absolutely zero politics. They don't make them like this anymore." Grade A tweet. Did I even like this?
Hater.
Damn, I'm a hater. Dude. Mario is an op. Mario's an op to Luigi right now. No, I found that one very funny. And here's another great one. That definitely got some laughs. Some guy with a handle ending with 8 digits in an anime Avi called me a cuck. This isn't fun anymore.
Yo, you see the time when I tweeted that?
Yeah, no, that was hilarious.
Fucking
yo. 3 a.m., dude. 3 a.m. Yeah. What, dude?
I woke up early
in your dreams, B. You woke up and you're just like, I'm getting cooked. They're cooking me.
I'm sleep tweeting. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Did you have this just ready to go, locked and loaded in the drafts?
Dude, I literally was half awake and I was like, how do I respond to this? And it's like, I don't know, bro. I think people are not gonna like this tweet. I think people always want to be serious on like Twitter, but I'm like, yo, Twitter's supposed to be fun, bro. Y'all doing it wrong. If you're always like, I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm trying to make people laugh and have fun. So I was like, people gonna get mad at this. Like, whenever I'll do a tweet that's like trolly, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do it, but I was half awake. I was like, fuck it. Like, why not?
Yeah, your inception dream is just arguing with people on Twitter.
Just every layer, just me on my phone, like.
Yeah.
Holy
hilarious.
Shit. 3 a.m., bro. I'm sick.
No, that's crazy. You're ready for the smoke. You were ready for the smoke all day. You tweeted that shit at like maybe 6:50 a.m. or some shit, and then you did not stop tweeting about it. I mean, it's over a day later, and you're still going. That's definitely impressive.
I tweeted that shit at 7:06 a.m. I started my fucking work week by tweeting this, and then I went to work, and that shit kind of blew up. I had a feeling it would. Like, anytime. I'd stay away from politics on again. The only reason why I commented on it was because, again, how it relates to fiction, but I just knew if the right person saw this tweet, it was fucking up. Like, it was
it's up.
It's up. It's stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the right people saw it, and then boom, we blew up. Some people would say that it's divisive for the community, but I mean, the fucking type of people that were responding to these, if you want those people in the community, that's weird to me, bro. That's kind of an L. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting replies. When we've been talking about this, when it became ironic and people would just be like, tell me the meaning behind this image.
Yo, motherfuckers was posting porn, bro.
Yeah, we would show you some of them on stream. There's a bunch of different replies. I would suggest you guys go through them. Just make sure you're not around anyone or you're not at work, because there's definitely some really sketchy ones. But there are some funny ones too, so definitely go check them out. Quick pivot though, Stokes, I know you are very, very close to launching your next campaign. So while we have people in here, do you want to tell the people about your next project?
Decay issue 4 and 5, we're finishing everything up. It's going to be, this is the most political comic book on the market, bro. Like, all kinds of messaging and allegories for this. You know what I'm saying? Read it. No, let's do this. You read me and tell me what the allegories are for this book. Since apparently, like, all I make is propaganda. If you ask certain people on Twitter, so y'all read it and tell me.
Damn. So if you want to extremely woke a book, according to the wokest book you'll ever get, you can go get it. Decay issues number 4 and 5, the finale. But I also have a project.
Oh shit!
The Saturn Effect Alpha numbers 1 through 5, which also has 200 followers pre-launch right now, as we follow stellar siblings Alpha and Centauri as they try to free the solar system from the Earth Empire. And I actually do have to now display a new variant cover that I was promising that I'd reveal at 200. And so I'm going to have to stall for a second because I didn't think I hit 200. So Stokes, what are you excited about for Decay 4 and 5? Do you have a specific reward that you have coming out that you think people are going to enjoy a lot?
The book.
The book? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this book is so fucking woke. You give this to your war vet grandfather, and he'll get so fucking pissed off. There's a great stocking stuffer for somebody that you want to hand a piece of propaganda to, you know. Damn.
Okay. All right. You know, that's a riveting pitch. And makes me really, really want to cop it.
Yo, pull up Larry's comment. Pull up Larry's comment.
Which one?
Yo, look at the most of this.
God damn, dude. Hilarious.
Oh my god.
So I'm going to show a awesome variant cover by Andreas Scalmazzi and Marcos Martins. This is going to be available on our next campaign. No logo, virgin. There's only be limited copies. And we also have the original traditional inks that will be available as well. Only one person in the world can get it. So make sure you definitely sign up today and grab it, because I mean it's great. It's some good stuff. The Saturn Effect Alpha is that next level shit, and we're trying to get to 5 figures once again. So definitely make sure you follow everybody. Make sure to follow Decay and Stokes. When you were making Decay, did you have the politics section of the New York Times open while you were thinking of the plot, or what? What was the inspiration?
I had fucking no riff. I have no riff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking get in trouble, bro. Hey, also here, like bring this one up.
Oh, you're sending me on Twitter?
Yeah.
Got you.
This is somebody that said this little guy that said I was doing like propaganda and stuff like that. I want Julio to see this one. You know,
here we go. All right, you want to read it out loud, Six?
War dude. Not every single story that includes elements of war or references to war is political. You are trying to fit a Buick into a paper bag. You are way past square peg and round hole. I'm only bringing this up because this dude insulted me multiple times. Julio, what do you think about this tweet?
Shit, I'll peg him.
Hey, yo, Special Agent Julio. Is that what they be doing in the CIA?
Bro, that's like one of the dumbest things that I've ever read. Like, literally, yes, every single fucking film about war is depicting a message about war. And I would argue that, most of the time, if not all the time, it's a pro-war message. Just the exhilaration of war being depicted on screen to people as a consumer. Yeah, like you're making people root for war. That's what you're doing. So yeah, that's just stupid. I have no other comments about it other than that.
I mean, what's more political than war? I would argue that that's literally the most.
It's the most political shit.
Yeah, like literally tell me what is more like it's two different political like entities clashing. Like I don't know. Like I think this is just speaks to such a bias that people have against that term political. Like that's the only explanation that you could come to after this. Like where it's like not everything I mentioned Lore is political. It's like no, it is. Because why would you mention it?
Word.
What why would what oh go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say, like, I guess question, do you think that things lose politics as time goes on? Like, thinking about like the Iliad, at the time that was like a political piece because it was doing a retelling of the Trojan War. But in our current year, the politics essentially mean nothing and it's become something that kind of transcends.
Yeah, I think it can increase or decrease, like certain things. Like some people say what was that fucking 1982, 1984?
Yeah.
Like some people saying being blocked on Twitter is like, wow, look at like 1984 or someone else was right, So, things can become more. Oh, remember Idiocracy? Remember how much I hate that fucking movie, Julio?
Yeah.
Some people are saying that's like not even what they say is like that's not fiction. It's a document.
Yeah, 1984 predicted being a straight male in today's society. But I think that because of technology, because society progresses, we become more alienated towards those stories. Like, because you can't really relate to warfare during that period anymore. But like when you see people, getting gunned down for overtly political reasons, then we resonate with that more because that's the context we live under.
Definitely. I think, some things can get less political, but I don't think it stops it being it can be completely apolitical, as we've been saying. Just because, especially something like the Iliad, that's like kind of like the bedrock when it comes to like Western fiction almost and epic storytelling. I mean, it's one of the few Homerific epics that we even have, or one of the two. So I do think things can get less political for sure, but I also think, as Stokes was saying, 1984, Idiocracy, both of these are pieces that have gotten more political with time. So it's definitely interesting. I think it depends on what we've been saying, the politics of the time, right? Like the world, the society that you're living in, etc. Obviously, if you're living in like a remote village, the politics or the increased relevance of the politics in 1984 it won't mean as much to you as it does someone in the Western world. So it's definitely super interesting to think about. We have Pete saying the Iliad, damn, I read it twice and didn't get a modern political feel from it, but damn, that's a tough example. Yeah, I think it's hard to say that it's like directly political with things that are going on now, but I think just because of how cemented in Western just thinking and the Western zeitgeist that it can't not be political ever.
Somebody brought up Street Fighter in the comments. Somebody brought up Street Fighter in the can't believe you wrote that, Chris. That's crazy.
That wasn't me. That was you.
That was real. That was real. Like, you just objectified the first female character ever.
That's crazy.
Somebody said Miss Pac-Man. Like somebody was like, "What's the politics of Miss Pac-Man?" And I think the creator of Miss Pac-Man said they were trying to create, and this also has a story. Miss Pac-Man has a story. They were trying to create a character that would appeal, a video game that would appeal to female prospective players. So even Miss Pac-Man has politics. I'm trying to find the tweet right now. It was really well said.
Do you think Chun-Li is political?
Dude, I don't play Street Fighter, bro.
I don't play Street Fighter.
I'm sure I can make the argument.
I think she is.
Yeah, isn't she a cop?
No, it's not about that. It's her depiction, the Chinese outfit with the super high skirt and like being super sexy and everything. It's based on Japanese depictions of Chinese women during World War II, and kind of problematic.
Interesting.
Hey, bring up this nihilism comment. No, I mean, yes, it is. It's a political idea. You see how motherfuckers
splitting hairs.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right. Tell me about
I agree with that. I wasn't gonna say though because I didn't want to slow down the conversation further, but
literally you're saying nothing matters. Like, what the hell do you mean? Like, so yes, it is. It is a bring up the most recent. Yes, it is. It is a political belief because you believe that nothing matters. So if nothing matters, vis-a-vis politics don't matter.
Yeah, like you're not gonna vote for the nihilist party at the next fucking midterms, but it does have a political context to it. Like, let's not be silly here.
Led by political candidate Joe Kerr. Modern nihilist is very different. So no, there's no confusion. I mean, don't hop into space with this bullshit. Nah, I'm fucking. Yeah, people can come into my spaces and we can disagree. They just don't get a speaker role.
Damn. So back to the Street Fighter. Bison.
Yo, what's up, Geraldo?
The world.
There you go. What's up, Geraldo? You're fucking wrong, Geraldo. Post a comment. You're fucking wrong.
Yeah, Bison believes in social Darwinism. I definitely think Street Fighter is definitely political. I mean, especially considering like it's like a world tournament also between all these like representatives of different countries and things like that. Street Fighter 6 coming out soon though, so anyone that wants to get clapped in that, definitely make sure to follow Twitter Chris Moses, and you'll definitely get bopped when that shit comes out.
No, look at me.
All right, Stokes, do you have anything else to pivot towards?
No, not right now. I think that's it. Oh no, I do have one thing. Does something having political themes make it mean it's political?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to waste a lot of time with that.
Yeah, yes.
What do you think, Julio?
Can you repeat the question?
Does having political themes make something political?
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm really scratching my head on that one. Okay. While we're thinking about that one, what about this one? Are social issues political?
Wow, that's another beast. That's another Rubik's Cube. I don't know.
Man, I'm too busy watching my wife get fucked to answer that one. I don't know.
Is my wife getting fucked by another man? Is that political? A political statement when I allow that?
No, my wife gets fucked by capitalists and Marxists. You know, that's that's a bipartisan.
She's a centrist.
Damn. That's crazy.
Oh my god. I like how the comments are they're just having their own conversation. Like
we appreciate everyone stopping by. Larry, you're gonna get cooked. I'll just leave it at that.
Do you ever think we would be sitting here talking to Larry about Street Fighter? This is nice.
You know what? Honestly, yes. Honestly, yes. I did think it was gonna happen. I knew, because I know that you're somebody that like wants to, like, you're always down to like squash the beef and invite somebody to the table and like talk it out. So I think like eventually it was going to happen. I think it was a little bit sooner than anybody expected, but I think that just goes to show how mature both of you are in this aspect or in this regard. So applause to you guys, because this is what started it all, the beef, the Larry beef, and look at us now. It's definitely changed a lot. So Stokes, if you don't have anything else to pivot towards, I think we may be able to start to wrap this up. But you tell me, if you have a pivot, we can pivot.
I low-key wanted, yeah, you gotta go. So I wish I could like take over the stream. Is there a way to do that?
You'd probably have to restart stream, but maybe it's best to start a Twitter space or something, and go from there.
Yeah,
because I do have something to do early tomorrow. I have to take my mom somewhere, everyone. So apologies, but Super Comic Book Mom has a doctor appointment, so I have to get up early.
L host,
yeah, L host, but W son.
Yeah,
L host with W son. So I think that is a win in my book. So let's wrap it up. I want to thank our guest, CIA agent Julio. Thanks for coming on, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, buddy. Yo, one day we're gonna all have to meet up. It's gonna be dope. I don't even know what you look like, because you're always undercover when you come on the stream because you're on a top secret mission.
Yeah, keep it on the down low, both ways.
Hey.
That motherfucker is like Chameleon, like from Spider-Man. He can just change his face. He's like Mysterio. I don't think he like has a face.
A word. And 24x4, thank you so much for coming on. We really enjoyed the mask. Hopefully you can breathe better now.
Oh my god, yeah. Jeez. Also, can I show my Instagram real quick?
Yes, please show. Please show.
I have a link for it in my link tree. I don't want to like spew my the shill for my current project on here because I just talked a lot of politics. I don't know if my editor would be okay with that. But if you go on my Instagram, I've been talking about my current project. It's pretty cool. It's going to be published in Korea. I'm very excited.
Can we, Chris? Can we have 5 minutes to talk about that first? Can we have 5 times to talk about that first post right there to the left?
This one?
Oh my god.
Can we?
Somebody yelled at me today about it. It was very mean. And then I just reached out with kindness and I was like, "Hey, buddy, you seem kind of upset. Can we talk and come to an understanding?" And then they blocked me.
Bro, the same shit happens to me where somebody will fucking subtweet me, and then I'm like, "Yo, let me just qualify. Like, you're talking about me, but let me just like reiterate kind of my point." And then they get mad. They unfollow me. I guess it's too confrontational. It's like,
I wasn't even confrontational. I was like, "Hey, I would like to come at this with the same compassion I wish that you would treat me with. Like, can we come to an understanding? This is where I'm coming from. I am curious to know where you are coming from." And blocked.
Yo, Chris, I sent you the tweet on. Not that I want to spend a lot of time on this, but
okay.
I'll give you like 5 minutes.
All right, so this was something that 24x4 put up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you want to
my buddy found it. My buddy found it on Facebook.
Gotcha.
So
you don't have to read the whole thing if you don't want to.
The artist alley is a great indicator of styles, genres, and influences in popular art. If Toronto, meaning TCAF, is any indication, then the superhero art genre is no longer a major influence among young people. Out of hundreds of artists, I didn't see a single comic book style superhero. Lots of manga, anime, and I don't know if they're trying to say Ghibli or Chibi, maybe halfway in between, style, and quite a few original characters. I've been watching this trend for a decade now, and comic books are no longer the main artistic influence or inspiration for young artists. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, so you were reposting this because you agree with it, obviously.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, I think it's not even just art styles. I think it comes down to like even the writers also, like Stokes,
Definitely.
myself. Like we're all like we're manga pilled, like to the point where we were all like our first sequential for a lot of us, like storytelling was manga and stuff online, like going to manga forums and manga websites and reading scans and et cetera. So it's a new wave. I mean, if you look at the stuff that does really well in the in the algorithms, the things that people really like on Twitter and et cetera, the stuff you'll find on your explore page, it's hard to say that they aren't extremely inspired by anime manga. And I think people just really like that kind of stuff. They like the high energy, the fast moving stuff, the really earnest and sincere sort of takes on genres, or the really interesting and new and subversive concepts on stuff and genres that we all know and love already. Manga has it all. It's got everything. Manga is killing the game, honestly.
Like, I would also argue that feeding into the whole political discussion as well, manga is so I'm trying to limit my use of saying manga and just say comics, because to Zoomers, manga is comics. This is what they know as comics. They don't identify with superheroes or with sort of the Western style basically at all. So I think that I think that that the direction that Asia has moved the art form into is kind of the postmodern, like neo-romantic, like all that. in a way, because currently American comics are in like postmodernism, where the entire shtick is, hey guys, look at the superheroes. They used to be funny and cute. Now they're gritty and mean. Isn't this realistic? And it's just all about like trying to insert realism, like, and I'm using air quotes around that. Because it's, let's be real, it's none of it's actually like realistic in any way. It's just mean and mean spirited. And I think that the neo-romantic movement that we're going to be moving into is going to be more optimistic and more like, it's going to be rejecting rejecting the idea that the personal needs to be political, and it's going to be more about like sort of like individual truths. And I think that the manga medium itself, the art style, like, it's more about getting at an individual truth. Like, even when you see like a punch drawn, when you see a punch drawn in a Western comic, it's like taking a photograph of a punch and then just like, it's static, it's lifeless, it's just, it's how we consensus agree that a punch should look. But then when you see a punch in manga, it's conveying the feeling of an individual that you like, a feeling that you might understand as a personal like movement. And so I think that I think that manga is the answer to the ills of postmodernism.
I could definitely see that. Just to touch on that quickly, I think if we're thinking about like what's the follow up to postmodernism, what is postmodernism? I've seen people talk about like it's this oscillation between the cynicism and being in the nihilism of postmodernism and the actual sincerity and the grand narrative and et cetera of modernism. And I think manga does it well. And Stokes and I were sort of been talking about that. When you look at this new wave of shonens where they're all like trying to subvert the actual genre, and they're like, we're doing something different. This is like a new way to see this type of thing that we've seen so many different times. And they approach it very postmodernly. And then they end up becoming the shonen that they were subverting in the first place, which like they're oscillating in these 2 points. Like manga already, a lot of those Chainsaw Man, yeah, exactly. All these things, they're all playing with these or Dantadan. They're playing with these tropes and these sort of expectations and subverting them, and then ending up bringing us back to the thing that we were all looking for in the end. And that could be because either editors or because at the end of the day they just really like shonens. But it's definitely interesting to see where the genres are going and how manga is able to facilitate all this creativity, and as you're saying, 24, the next reaction to postmodernism that we're currently in. I don't think it's something that's to come. I think it's transpiring right before our eyes.
I think it's been happening for 10 years, and the American comic book industry will not acknowledge it.
For sure, definitely. So Stokes, do you have any final remarks on this before we sign off?
I think it's interesting because we could have made a video. I made a smaller thread about manga versus comics, not manga versus comics, but like what I thought comics. I was trying to figure out, what does manga do better than comics? What does comics do better than manga? The answers for what comics do better than manga were not substantial in any way. To be honest, they tried, but and then we were talking about manga, and then here, what I think is interesting is kind of looking at the artist alley as kind of a temperature probe for like what is influential. And I'm going to a con this weekend, so I'm going to kind of peep. But I think I think you're right. Like my biggest influence is like manga and movies. Like everybody in our generation, I think was, not everybody, but a lot of creators were influenced by manga. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think to ignore that, or I think to discredit that is a bad idea. Not that anybody here is doing that, but just in general. And even if we're not making manga, we're still trying to capture the feeling that the feeling that it gave us. I'm actually making a manga. I'm sure you will. You're working on one too, so it's definitely influential. We're all working on things that could be described as manga.
I'm literally working on a manhwa that's going to be published in Korea. So
let's go.
Yeah.
Big dub.
Mine's not actually a manga, but it's inspired by it. So, but Stokes 24x4. This is a great show. Stokes, try not to get actually get ratioed because we need more content for next week. Because we're back, baby. We're ready to. We've been back. We never gone anywhere. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
I don't know if I'm back, bro. I got a campaign next week.
No, yeah, we got campaigns coming up. We're definitely back. I don't know what you're talking about. So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate you all coming by. Super Comic Books fans. We will be back next week with another amazing show. And thanks for stopping by.
Have a good night.